Okay, so now the next thing which we have to see here is average EMF, right? So what exactly is average EMF? Let's see that. Average EMF or average current, both the things, average, you say average current or EMF, both. In case of AC, is that right? That is alternating currents in or alternating EMF or alternating current, the average value of that. Generally, or when we have studied steady current, in that case, this average EMF, right, or average current, if we have to find, we just find total. Average is what? Average is always total divided by the time, right? Or the number of cycles in case of this, I mean, total divided by number of occurrences. This is number of observations. Better term will be number of observations. That is called average. So if it is average current, it will be the total current divided by n. That means how many current elements you are adding. You just divide it by that. That will be the average current. But in this case, if I apply the same logic in this particular case, what will happen is this is one cycle, and in this, suppose this is one cycle, in this one cycle there is an equal positive and negative section. So if I have to find average in one cycle, what will happen? They both will cancel each other. If I have to find the sum of these two, the sum will be 0, right? So, and this you can even prove it mathematically. Your I or E, suppose we talk about E, then E is equals to E naught sine omega t, right? So the total EMF in this case will be what? Total EMF will be, if I have to find the total EMF in these two, so I'll have to do what? I'll have to just add this, right? With respect to t, if it is, this is your t or theta, which is equals to omega t, and this is E. If I have to find the total of E, what I'll have to do is I'll have to integrate it with respect to t. So I'll get this E naught and integration of sine omega t dt from 0 to t. And I know that this one, 0 to t, t is actually 2 pi, theta is 2 pi there. So that is actually 0. This we already know. So this will be equal to 0. So total will come out to be 0 in one cycle. In two cycle also it will be 0. In three cycle also it will be 0. So in n cycles, if we take any number of cycles, complete cycles, then the sum of EMF and even the sum of current will be what? It will be 0. So obviously if the sum is 0, then average will also be 0. So the normally the average which we take, if we take the same average here as well, that average will come to be 0. That means in one cycle total EMF will be 0. In one cycle total current will be 0. In two cycle total current and total EMF will be 0. In three cycles total current and total EMF will be 0. Now, is that possible? Let's see that. So if there is an alternating current coming in your device, if it is used for one cycle, and you are saying that in that case total current and total EMF is 0, that means you have not consumed any power. And if you don't consume power, there should not be any change in energy. There should not be any consumption of energy there. That means the electric energy should not change into your light energy, or in case of fan, it should not change into the motional and the motion, right? So these things should not happen. But because there is a change in energy, there will be an heating effect, there will be a light effect, there will be a motion effect. So this all indicates that energy is being consumed, whether it is 1 cycle, 2 cycle, or 4 cycle, right? So even if the cycle completes, I cannot say that, this EMF, this average EMF which we have got, this will not give us the actual picture or correct idea about the consumption of the electricity, right? So that's why the EMF which we calculate, or the average EMF which is calculated, or the average current which is calculated in case of AC, is not this normal way of calculation. We do something else. What we do, the average or mean value of alternating current, which we have seen that if I take the half cycle, right? So first thing is, don't take this full cycle, take only the half cycle, right? So we consider only the half cycle. So in that half cycle, if I'm passing this alternating current only for half cycle, some amount of work will be done. If we consider both of them, mathematically this will be zero, but physically we know that it is not possible, that the total power consumption in one cycle will be zero. We know that it won't happen, right? So how to find out that? So in order to do that, we actually compare it with the steady current or the direct current or DC, right? So that steady current, which will send the same amount of charge in a circuit in the time of this half cycle. I hope you understood or not. Doubt? See.
Yes, sir.
We are changing, you suppose there is a battery. This battery actually gives you what? This gives you DC, right? Suppose the time for this half cycle is some some t by 2, capital T by 2, where t is the time period of this alternating source. Now for this amount of time, this period of time, you pass the DC.
Hear me?
Are you understanding?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So
I kind
we
of have
will,
a mic problem.
no problem. So the average or mean value of alternating current, we are not going to find for the entire cycle. We'll find it only for the
half cycle,
right? And it is that steady current or that direct current which will send the same amount of charge
as
in a
the AC.
circuit, right? Yeah, in a circuit in the time of half
the
cycle.
same time.
In the same time, that is time of this half cycle. So suppose there is a circuit like this, and in this circuit I have to send some current. If there is a battery, there will be some current. This is DC, right? Now the amount of the time for this is t by 2, so I'll have to consider the same time here as well, and in the same time I should be able to send the same amount of charge which is being sent here, right? So charge is, suppose here the charge which is sent is Q, so the same amount of charge Q should be sent here in the same amount of time, that is t by 2. Is that clear? Now the current which is generated here, that will be called the average current. Is this clear? So average current or average AC alternating current is defined like that. It is not defined by just AC. We actually have to do what? We actually have to have a circuit which has DC source, and we make sure that in the same amount of time we are able to produce the same amount of charge here as well. The charge produced in half time is also produced here. And now in order to, if we are able to do that, if we are able to achieve that, then we just find out the current in the circuit. Now whatever is the value of current here, that same value will be the average EMF, or sorry, average current value of this particular circuit or AC source as well. Is that clear? So we cannot calculate the average AC directly because average here will be 0. So it is calculated based on the charge. So the charge which is developed in the half cycle of AC, the same amount of charge we have to develop in the DC circuit. And in order to do that, when we do that, the current which is generated in the DC circuit is actually the average of the, or is actually the average value of the EMF or the alternating current, both, right? So we know that this dq, the small amount of charge which is generated, that is equals to I dt, or I is equals to dq divided by dt. This is something which we already know. Right? And what exactly is I? I is actually I naught sine omega t. So dq will be I naught sine omega t dt. Clear? Now if I have to find the total charge which has to be generated in what time? Time 0 to t by 2, not the complete cycle. So you just have to integrate this I naught sine omega t dt. Now you integrate it. This is a simple integration, and give it a try. Integrate it and let me know what is the value of Q you are getting.
Yes, sir.
What did you get?
Now, yeah. The Q for half cycle is minus, no, Im t by pi.
Im is the?
Im is the maximum, so I naught.
Okay, correct. So you integrate it, I naught will come outside, and here you will have cos minus, or let's say minus cos omega t. Okay, and there is omega as well, so divided by omega. Okay, and integration, now you substitute the limits, that is from 0 to t by 2, right? And when we substitute these values, you will get, let's take the minus outside itself, this is minus I naught divided by omega cos omega t by 2. What will be this? Cos omega t by 2. What exactly is omega t by 2? You know this or not? Omega t is theta. So omega t will be the theta covered in the entire cycle. That is nothing but 2 pi. So omega t divided
So
by
2 pi by t into t by 2.
Correct. Huh? So what will be
2
this?
pi
This
by
will be
t into t by 2.
correct. Omega t is 2 pi. 2 pi divided by 2. That is just pi.
Yeah.
Right. So this is
Minus
actually
Tm by, yeah.
cos pi minus cos 0. Right? So cos pi is -1, cos 0 is 1. So this is -1, -1. Is it clear? So this will be minus I naught divided by omega -1 -1. So that is nothing but 2 I naught divided by omega. This is the amount of charge which will flow in the t by 2 time. That is the capital T by 2. Capital T, that is in half time or in the half cycle, this is the amount of charge which will flow. Is this clear? The amount of charge that will flow in half time period or half cycle will be equals to this. So if this question comes directly, this is how you are going to derive it. That is, what is the amount of charge which will be flowing in half cycle. So in half cycle, this is the amount of charge which will be flowing. It will not be and in second half also the same amount of charge will be flowing. It's only that the direction of the flow of charge will be different. So that makes current equal to 0, but that does not make charge which is flowing in the circuit to be 0. The total charge which has flown is actually 4I naught divided by omega in one cycle, and that charge will be responsible for the work done. Is it clear? So average current is 0 in one cycle, but the charge is not 0. This charge which is there in the half, this is the charge which will flow in the first half or in the one of the halves of the cycle. One half cycle will have this charge, right? So this is how you derive the amount of charge which flows in a half cycle, and the value of that charge is equals to 2I naught divided by omega. So the charge which we have here in the half cycle is 2I naught divided by omega. This is something which we have already seen. Okay, now 2I naught is okay. What is omega? Omega is 2 pi divided by t. So this can be also written as 2I naught divided by 2 pi divided by t. Right? So what is this now? This 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So this is I naught into t divided by pi. That is the charge. So charge can also be expressed like this. I naught t divided by pi. Is it clear? Now coming to the average current. What is I average, or what is the average which we have to take? So average, as I said, it will be equal to, now you already have the charge value and you know the time. So I average is nothing but total charge divided by, in any case, average rate of change is this itself. So that is equals to total charge divided by total time. Now what is the total charge in half lifetime, or sorry, half cycle? It is I naught t divided by pi. So that is charge q divided by t by 2. The time which we have taken is t by 2. So this is equal to I naught t, actually t and t will get cancelled. So this will be equals to 2 I naught divided by pi. This is the I average, and this is a fixed value which is a multiple of, or you can say it is a fraction of I naught, that is maximum EMF or maximum current, right? That is 2I naught divided by pi. So I average, you have to note down this, that I average is equal to, the value of this is equals to 2I naught divided by pi. This is the average current as well as average EMF, right? That is 2I naught divided by pi. Actually, pi is 3.14 or 22 by 7. If I substitute this here, right, I'll get this to be equal to 0.637 into I naught, right? You see here 2 divided by pi. Pi is 3.14. So obviously it will be a fraction of I naught. It won't be more than or equal to I naught. So this is exactly or the exact value of I average. Or you can say that this average value of current and EMF is actually equal to 63.7% of maximum or peak current, right? So if peak current is this I naught, average will be somewhere over here, which will be greater than half but less than the maximum, right? So this is about the average EMF. Very important topic, very important application from practical point of view, practical application point of view. It is very important topic. So this is how you calculate the average current in case of alternating current. Any doubt? Let me know if you have any doubt.
No, sir.
Okay. Nishant, you had some paper today or you are Vaibhav?
Sir, I had no paper today, but then I'm having exams in the month end.
Okay.
That's like 28, 29, 30.
Okay, no problem. Same chapter or ray optics?
Sir, AC and ray optics both are coming in
Both are
physics
coming.
on 28th.
Okay. Okay, so that was average EMF and average current. Both will have the same expression. We start with average current, and whatever we get for average current, that is the same expression you will get for average EMF as well in case of alternating current, right? Any doubt in this? Average or EMF or the mean value of alternating current or the EMF is 0 if I take the whole cycle. That's why we don't take the whole cycle. Now the next value, which is again very important for this, is the root mean square value of EMF or current. This is the actual thing which you have to study. I mean, this is also very more important than the previous one, but previous one is also important, right? Now, this is called root mean square. That there are different names for this. That is virtual current, right? Or effective. So these are different names for the same concept which we are going to study. That is root mean square or RMS. Now, what exactly is RMS? You must have seen this earlier as well. RMS, the root mean square, it's simple to understand. It is root
You take
of mean
mean and then you take root of it.
Correct. Root of mean of squares. So if you have few values, you square them, then you take mean of those squares. Mean of those squares means what? You have to add them and divide it by the number of occurrences. That is how you will get mean. So mean of squares, and then you take the root of that, right? So this is how you find it if you have the individual values. But here practically you won't be having those values. You will have to derive this based on practical observations. So just like we have seen the average EMF or average current, which was based on charge, this EMF, the root mean square value of whether it is EMF or current, this is actually based on the power consumption or heat generated. It is based on that. So that's why we say that this is the effective way or effective value of the alternating current. So RMS value of alternating current, it is that steady current. Again, because if you find power in one cycle, one complete cycle, you won't be able to do that, because current is zero, power is I square RT, so that will also be zero. The heat generated is I square R into T. So even the heat generated will be zero. So if there is no energy, energy is zero. That means if you divide energy by time, you will get power, but that will be zero. So we don't find it for the entire cycle again. We do it again for only the half cycle. Or for the entire cycle, if you want to do, you don't do it for the, or you again don't do it just mathematically. You go ahead and find the equivalent steady current. So the root mean square value of alternating current, it is that steady current which would produce the same heat, right? We are talking about heat. It will produce the same heat in a given resistance, in a given time, as is produced by the given alternating current in the same resistance in the same time. So we are not limited to only half time or half time period. Any time you take, whatever time you are taking, even if you are taking for the entire cycle, you will get the same thing. We are considering the heat which is being generated. Now the heat which is generating, which will be generated, will not be dependent only on the time. It will be also dependent on other factors. So we'll see that. So what exactly is heat? The small amount of heat generated if suppose the current is I is equals to I naught sine omega t. This is the current which is there in the circuit. Now for this current, what will be the heat generated for a very small time? It will be I square R into dt. I hope you already know this, that this is nothing but the heat which is generated. Heat is I square R into T, where T is the time. Okay, so dH, the small amount of heat generated for a very small time period, delta T or dt, will be equals to I square R into dt. Now what is I? I is I naught sine omega t. So this is I naught square R square, sorry, I naught square sine square omega t, that is your I square, into R into dt. So if I rearrange this, it will be I naught square R into sine square omega t dt. This is clear, right? What we see here now, your sine term, whose integration was the problem earlier, right? Because integration of sine in one cycle will give you 0, right? But now what do you have? You have sine square. So sine square won't be negative, it is square. So you keep on adding them, you will never get 0. That was the problem with sine. Sine was alternating its, you can say the value, positive to negative, negative to positive. Now that is not the case. Now if you find the total amount of heat which is generated, you won't be getting 0, right? So now do that. So what will be the total amount of heat generated in one cycle? That will be nothing but integration of this dH in one cycle, that is from 0 to t. So that will be integration from 0 to t of I naught square R sine square omega t dt. Now this is the integration which you have to do. This is integration which we have already studied in mathematics. Can you tell me, just tell me, I'll directly write the result, but you tell me what will be your approach in order to find out this integration? How are we going to find this integration of sine square? Obviously, I square r will come out and you have to
1
integrate
minus
only
cos theta by 2.
1 minus cos
Cos
2
2
omega t.
theta by 2.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 omega t by 2.
So you will do that. When we do this, or if you want, you can try this and find out the exact value of this heat H. Yes, tell me, what did you get? H is equals to?
I got total H is equal to I naught square RT by 2.
I naught square RT divided by 2. Done. So that is the heat which will be generated by this AC, right? By this alternating current in total one cycle. In one cycle, this is the amount of heat which will be generated. Any doubt till here? So I'll rub this and I'll just write the final expression for this, that if this is the current, right? I equals to I naught sine omega is the current, then the heat which will be generated in one cycle will be equal to I naught square into R into T divided by 2. Right? Now what do we have to do? We have to find the this is the heat generated, but not the actual value or the effective value of the IRMS. So if we have to find IRMS, we have to compare it with the DC. Now in the same amount of time, in case of DC, what will be the heat generated? It will be nothing but this I, whatever I is there, square into R into T. This is the heat generated in DC. This is something which we already know. For DC, this is the heat generated, right? So if the time period is same, then in same amount of time, heat generated by DC is given as this, that is I square into RT. Now, as per definition of RMS value or root mean square value of AC, what did we say? It is that amount of DC which will produce the same heat which is there produced in case of AC in same amount of time. So here we have taken same amount of time. Now what do we have to do? We have to find that current which will produce same amount of heat. So this heat is produced in AC, this heat is produced in DC. Now these two have to be same. That means heat produced by AC in one cycle has to be equal to heat produced by DC in the same cycle, right? Or same amount of time. And the current which is required for this, because that is a DC current, I can easily find out, and that value of current will be called the IRMS of this. So that means I naught square into RT by 2 is equals to I square into RT. Is it clear? So what we will get, this RT and this RT will get cancelled, and you will have I square is equals to I naught square divided by 2. From this, what can I say? That I is equals to I naught divided by root 2. This value of DC is nothing but your RMS value. So finally, I'll say that I RMS is equals to I naught divided by root 2. Right? And average for half cycle was what? I average was, what was the value there? Just now we have derived, right?
Yes, sir. And the
What was that?
average, 2/5 I naught.
Right? So this is 63.7%, and this one
That is
is actually 70.7.
7%.
So this is more, IRMS value is more than the average value. And this is the effective value, or this is the main value which we have to use. The AC devices which you see, right, in your home appliances, that actually mentions this current. The current which is mentioned there, it is not average current, it is not peak current, it is not average current, it is actually this RMS value of current. So this is very important. This is the practical value which you will be using, or which will be used, or which you will see being used in day-to-day life. This value, that is RMS value. And it is what? It is I naught divided by root 2, or simply 70.7% of the peak current. Is it clear? Any doubt in this RMS and this? And same thing will happen with EMF as well. So for EMF also, you'll have to do the same thing. So you'll get the same thing, that is 70.7%. So this expression, these two expressions are very important, the RMS value and the average value. What we use more in practical, this is the value which is used. So you will be seeing your devices, right? Bulbs or your chargers. So the current which is mentioned there is actually this current, IRMS current,
Yes, sir.
right? So you
So
have to
what's the
take
reason why you use IRMS?
because this actually gives you the actual energy consumed. Charge is okay. Charge doesn't give you the actual energy consumed. First, second, it is, so this gives you an idea about the energy consumed. This also gives you an idea about the heat generated. So in say, for example, appliances and all, that heat which will be generated is very, very important to, I mean, it has a practical significance compared to the charge.
Okay.
Right? Practically, we use heat. We don't use charge. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately it will be charge which will be used, but from user point of view, it is the heat which is more important. So the actual work done or actual power consumed over the entire cycle, this expression is actually based on that. This expression is not based on how much charge has moved. So that's why this is important, right? Or more
Yes,
important.
sir.
Right. So that was about the root mean square value of the current. And we know that now it is less than the average, the peak, but it is greater than the average. Right. So that is about average and the this RMS value. So whatever value is given in your question, right? The EMF and the current, if it is mentioned in your numericals and questions, you will have to take it as RMS, right? Even if it is given only I, in case of alternating current, if it is given I is equals to 2 amperes, so this 2 ampere is actually IRMS. Is that clear? So if it is specified,
Yes, sir.
if something else is specified, then only we'll take that. Otherwise, we'll always take whatever value of current. In case of alternating current, we'll always take that as RMS value, right? The AC emitter and AC voltmeter, the devices which we see, the devices which is there in your lab, AC, the voltmeters and all, which you connect with the battery, that is actually a DC voltmeter or DC emitter because you are connecting it to a battery, correct? But the AC emitter, the devices which measures AC current, the AC emitter and AC voltmeter, it will actually read the RMS value of the alternating current and voltage. So those devices also measure the RMS values, right? They are actually called hot wire meters. Their construction and all is not there in your course, but they are called hot wire meters, right? So this is what AC is. Now we have to study different current elements and the circuit, that is resistors, inductors, and capacitors.
Inductors and capacitors.
So
Yes,
tell
yeah.
me, you want